Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Harry Malins, Chief Innovation Officer at the Aerospace Technology Institute, and it's a real pleasure to welcome so many of you to this webinar on the ATI's newly launched SME Programme. For those of you who don't know the ATI, we're an independent, non-profit organisation, and our mission is to transform aerospace through technology and innovation. Since we were founded nearly 10 years ago, we've worked with our partners across government and industry to facilitate over £3.5 billion of R&D investment into the next generation of civil aerospace technologies, guided by the technology strategy which we have developed for the UK aerospace sector, which you'll hear more about later. ATI funding has unlocked investment from over 400 organisations across the UK, including SMEs, academia, and large global OEMs. And in the last year alone, we have awarded grant funding worth £256 million, of which one quarter is expected to be channeled into SMEs. And we also support the sector through our thought leadership and insight. And many of you will be familiar with the outputs, for example, of our Fly Zero project, in which we worked with representatives from across the sector to demonstrate both the technical and commercial feasibility of hydrogen-powered flight. The reports are available on our website, and I'd really recommend that you take a look. We're now progressing the recommendations from Fly Zero, both through our technology investments, but also through the Hydrogen Capability Network, which will address the UK's requirement for the test infrastructure, skills base, and access to liquid hydrogen that will be needed to develop technology and capture share in this significant growth market. Sustainability is at the heart of what we do at the ATI, and we continue to work with academia and industry to understand the impact of aviation on the environment and the necessary mitigations. For example, we're currently developing a non-CO2 roadmap that will identify the applied research and technology opportunities to address the non-carbon impacts of aviation, including contrails, particulates, and NOx. And Net Zero 2050 will drive a major transformation in aerospace over the coming years. To help catalyse the innovation that will be needed to make this happen, we launched the ATI Hub at our conference 1 year ago. Again, you will hear more about this afternoon, particularly about the support that the Hub can provide to your organisation and its role in delivering this newly launched SME programme. At the ATI, we believe that SMEs and startups will have an incredibly important role to play in the transformation of the sector and in developing the technologies that are going to underpin it. So I'm hugely excited to have launched this programme. On today's webinar, our Strategic Portfolio Manager, Romina Davudi, will provide you with further details of the programme, including its scope, the application process, and key dates. Mark Scully, our Head of Technology for Advanced Systems and Propulsion, will talk about our technology strategy, Destination Zero, and how you can apply the roadmaps to your technologies. Then our Head of Innovation and Sustainability, Maria Nelson, will talk about the support available from the ATI Hub. And there's also going to be a chance to ask questions during our live Q&A. Details for joining Slido are shown on your screen, but you can also join at slido.com using the code ATISME. That's all in capitals, ATISME. Slido will open to questions towards the end of the presentations. Meanwhile, I'd like to hand over to Romina to tell you about the SME programme.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Romina Davudi. I'm the Strategic Portfolio Manager at the ATI, and today I will be giving an overview of the SME programme, the funding and eligibility rules, and some of the key points around the competition process. Our aims and objectives for launching the programme is to strengthen and encourage technology innovation in aerospace supply chain in the UK and to maximise benefits to SMEs. We also want to support and encourage industrial investment in aerospace and to deliver a program that's tailored to the needs of SMEs. We also want to make sure that the funding opportunity is available to all SMEs across the UK, regardless of their geographical location. The programme will also deliver several benefits, such as allocation of up to £10 million per year, with grants of up to £1.5 million to be awarded for each of the projects, with long project duration of 12 to 36 months and simple application process with regular funding calls. The competition is a two-stage application process, outline stage and full stage. The outline stage application opens 3 times a year and submissions are made via the ATI's website. Prior to submitting a formal outline stage application, projects have the opportunity to submit a draft outline stage application to ATI for feedback. The format of the applications at this stage of the competition is a PowerPoint presentation, and projects that are eligible will be invited to present their project to a pitch panel. For projects that are successful at this stage, they must submit to one of the 2 upcoming full stage application batches and inform the ATI of their intention. Applications at outline stage are only assessed by the ATI. The full stage application also opens 3 times a year and is by invitation only. Projects that are successful at outline stage will be invited to submit their full stage application on IFS on Innovate UK's website. The format of the application at this stage is questions and answers, which we will publish the details of this in early 2024. Similar to the outline stage, projects will also have the opportunity to submit a draft full stage application to ATI for feedback prior to formal submission. Applications at this stage of the competition will be assessed by Department for Business and Trade, ATI and Innovate UK. Prior to submitting a draft outline stage application to the ATI, we strongly encourage applicants to engage with the ATI Hub to make use of the opportunities and support available to applicants. Once you have gone through the outline stage and have received your notification, if you are successful, you will be invited to submit to the full stage application via IFS. If you are unsuccessful, you can resubmit your project up to a further 2 times to the programme. At the full stage application process, your project will be assessed by DBT, ATI and IUK. If you are successful at this stage, you will progress to the contracting process via Innovate UK. If you are unsuccessful, you will be given instructions on the next step in your feedback letter. All applicants that submit to the SME programme must also sign the SME programme agreement. This is a quick overview of the competition and panel dates that we have published on our website. We of course have the opening date and closing dates of the competition and the date that we will communicate the eligibility and pitch panel notifications to the applicants. The pitch panel dates are scheduled over 3 days for each call, following which you will receive the outcome of your application for that stage of the competition. There will be no funding awarded at this stage of the competition. The full stage application, we have also published the dates and notification dates when you will find out whether your project has been successful or not, and your feedback letter will include instructions on the next stage of the competition. Further information can also be found on the SME Programme page on the ATI's website. Funding and eligibility rules are a key part of the competition. Any project that submits to the SME programme must align with the ATI technology strategy, Destination Zero. The competition is open to organizations of any size that are registered in the UK, and we do also accept individual or consortium applications. The project team can be made up of businesses of any size, academic institution, public sector organizations, or RTOs. Lead organization can be a UK registered SME or a business of any size. However, the consortium must include at least one SME. All projects must be carried out and exploited in the UK, and all project partners and the lead program partner must sign the SME Programme agreement. Applicants to the SME Programme are exempt from the 2.5% industrial contribution to ATI. Projects that we will not fund as part of the programme are those that are mainly in defence and space. However, we do recognise dual use applications. Also projects that are in fundamental research, feasibility study, or experimental development, or any other research topic that sits outside of the ATI technology strategy. So the scope of the programme is for those projects that their primary application for technologies is in civil aerospace. The funding allocated to the SME programme is up to £10 million a year, and the SMEs in the consortium must receive at least 50% of the grant requested. Large organisations can share grant of up to 30% of their total project costs. If the consortium contains more than one large organisation, the 30% will be shared between them. Projects that submit to the outline stage and pass the eligibility and funding rules checks will be invited to a virtual pitch panel to present their project. The pitch panel is 1 hour and consists of 5 minutes for welcome and introductions, 25 minutes for project presentations, and 15 minutes for questions and answers. The 15 minutes at the end of the session will be for the panel only for feedback and assessment. The presentations at this stage will be assessed by ATI assessors only. We ask that a maximum of 3 representatives from the projects to attend the panel, and the names of the attendees must be communicated to the ATI at least 3 working days prior to the date of the pitch panel. The project lead must attend the panel and lead the presentation. We will accept a maximum of 10 slides, including the cover slides, for the presentations. If more than 10 slides are submitted, they will not form part of our assessment. The duration of the presentation is strictly 25 minutes, and we will not be able to allocate more time to this particular session. Applicants must not bring any additional material to the interview to share with the panel. Presentations submitted to the outline stage must address 2 sets of criteria: technology and exploitation and market. In the technology criteria, projects must demonstrate how they align with the ATI technology strategy and help the ATI to deliver its strategy roadmaps. Also demonstrating how does the technology compare to the current market and other competitors. Also describing the technology benefits such as cost and weight and performance. Projects must also demonstrate their ambition. For example, what is innovative about the project? Why is the technology required? And what challenges the technology will address and what enabling technologies are being developed as part of the project. The exploitation and market. Projects must demonstrate what are the routes to market and business opportunities. For example, who are the customers for the technology that's being developed? And also describing the route to market and how it will be implemented. And also, what is the market size for the technology opportunity? And what are the exploitation opportunities for the projects? What engagement have there been with end users to date to exploit the technology? And what is the implementation plan and what is the timeline for the technology? Thank you very much for listening, and I look forward to taking your questions in the Q&A session. We also have more detailed information available on our website, and if there is any questions that you have that the information isn't available on our website, you can contact us via competitions@ati.org.uk.
Good afternoon. My name is Mark Scully. I'm the ATI's Head of Technology for Systems and Propulsion. In this presentation, I'll be introducing you to the ATI's technology strategy, which is called Destination Zero. I'll be explaining our strategic objectives and the specific area of interest for our SME Programme funding scope. During the presentation, I'll be describing a number of potential technology topics, which are more detailed versions of the technologies described in the Destination Zero roadmaps. The examples shown are not exhaustive, and we strongly recommend that you contact the ATI with the technology innovation topics you're interested in pursuing. We will then be pleased to provide initial feedback on scope alignment. So the ATI technology strategy, Destination Zero, sets our path towards achieving two objectives. Firstly, the delivery of net zero carbon emissions for commercial aircraft by 2050. And secondly, supporting the competitiveness of UK industry in sustainable design, manufacture, assembly and operations of future aircraft. Whilst the overall aviation sector includes aircraft, fuels and energy, airports, airspace and operations and regulation, the SME Programme scope is focused exclusively on aircraft technologies. The ATI's priorities for investment are wide-body and narrow-body market segments. This is because these segments have the largest impact on sustainability and also contribute most to the UK economy. The ATI funding scope does include technologies applicable to regional, sub-regional, VTOL and eVTOL aircraft, and we will consider funding our projects which can demonstrate scalable technology solutions from these market segments or provide substantial economic, sustainability and technological advantage for the UK. Finally, the ATI will actively influence the partnership in collaborative projects to ensure a broad UK supply chain is represented. So the aircraft industry uses categories of performance qualities and requirements or attributes to assess how technologies will win a place on future new aircraft or upgrades. The ATI uses these same attributes to evaluate the benefits of a technology for commercial aerospace. There are 6 attributes, and these are safety, fuel efficiency, operational needs and flexibility, cost, environment and passenger experience. For safety, we consider the impact a technology might have on the aircraft's certification basis, its tolerance to human error, how readily the technology can be verified, its predictability, tolerance to intrusion, environmental tolerance, and operational risk. For fuel efficiency, we consider the impact a technology might have on aerodynamic efficiency, aircraft weight, propulsion system efficiency, operational impact, and parasitic losses. The operational needs and flexibility attribute considers how a technology might influence the aircraft performance, payload, availability, and any other operational limitations. Cost is considered from multiple perspectives. What is the influence of the technology on non-recurring cost or development cost of the aircraft? What is the impact on recurring cost? Is the aircraft operating cost changed? Is the cost of aircraft disruption impacted? And finally, what is the impact on disposal cost? The environment attribute looks at climate impact, local air quality impact, noise, ground contamination, materials usage, materials impact, and disposability or recyclability. For passenger experience, there is consideration of the impact on passenger comfort as well as overall service quality. And so, for technology projects, we are looking for evidence of how these attributes might be impacted to better understand the benefits of the technology for the commercial aerospace sector. Technology readiness levels, or TRLs, are a type of measurement system used to assess the maturity of a particular technology. Technology project is evaluated against the parameters for each technology level and can then be assigned a TRL based on the project's progress. There are 9 technology readiness levels. TRL 1 is the lowest, and TRL 9 is the highest. ATI uses TRL to help determine whether a project or proposal is suitable for a specific funding opportunity. The ATI's SME Programme is targeting technologies which have already achieved TRL 3 and can then be matured through a project to achieve TRL 6. In reality, that means we are taking technology which has achieved experimental proof of concept and maturing that technology so that it can be demonstrated in a relevant environment. Destination Zero include 3 technology roadmaps: ultra-efficient aircraft technologies, zero carbon emission aircraft technologies, and cross-cutting enabling technologies. Ultra-efficient aircraft technologies benefit all future aircraft by improving efficiency to reduce fuel demand, emissions, and operating costs. For these technologies, we consider how the technologies align with aerostructures, systems, and propulsion requirements for proposed future aircraft types. The targets are to reduce CO2, NOx, and noise emissions, and for the UK to secure 15% of the global market opportunity for ultra-efficient aircraft, and up to 72,000 aerospace jobs on ultra-efficient aircraft by 2050. Zero carbon emissions technologies represent the largest in-flight carbon reduction potential and enable a new market opportunity for UK aerospace. For these technologies, we consider how the technologies align with aerostructures, systems, and propulsion requirements for proposed novel aircraft types. The targets are to reduce CO2, NOx, and noise emissions, and for the UK to secure 19% of the global market share for zero carbon emission aircraft, and up to 60,000 aerospace jobs on zero carbon emission aircraft by 2050. Cross-cutting enabling technologies provide the ability to accelerate the adoption of ultra-efficient and zero carbon emission aircraft. The cross-cutting technologies are vital for novel aircraft platforms and for establishing UK leadership. For these technologies, we consider design and validation, manufacturing and assembly, and finally, through life support. The targets are to reduce energy usage, improve material utilisation, reduce waste during manufacture and end of life, reduce time to launch new products, and provide UK economic growth through market capture and the associated highly skilled jobs. Let's now take a deeper dive into potential technologies which might be developed in the SME Programme to deliver these roadmaps. Starting with ultra-efficient technologies, this slide highlights a range of potential opportunities. In propulsion and power, the need for increased efficiency of building and assembling high-value engines or rotor assemblies drives opportunities for robotics or mechatronics. Advanced sensing technology could enhance alignment and assembly of complex propulsion systems. For ancillary pipes required for engine systems, improved fittings and disconnects which could enhance pipework assembly would be beneficial. For composites, novel inspection techniques to validate rotor designs and support advanced manufacturing are candidate technologies. Fast-make techniques to support rapid prototyping will continue to be beneficial to accelerate rapid learning on new technologies. And the final example is around the concept of hybridization in engines to use the benefits of electrification to drive further increases in efficiency. In advanced systems, there is a continued need to develop smart, multifunctional sensors to enhance the performance across a range of aircraft systems. Advanced thermal management will continue to be important to improve efficiency of systems. Further developments in near-net shape manufacturing and lightweight composites applied across the range of aircraft systems could be considered. Finally, in this category, the aircraft electrical power systems continue to strive for increased efficiency, and power electronics, machines and drives technologies, or potentially energy harvesting technologies, could offer further efficiency benefits. In aerostructures, there are continuing challenges around materials and processes for near-net shape, which includes additive manufacturing. Composites for high-temperature applications are of interest. Opportunities are also seen in metallics, forming and joining, as well as casting technologies. For zero-carbon technologies, there are some differentiating technology opportunities. In propulsion and power, the continuing development of hydrogen fuel cell electric propulsion systems drives opportunities in component technologies for power generation systems, including the balance of plant systems such as air management, control systems, and thermal management. High-efficiency power electronics machines and drives remain a key opportunity. And for energy storage, continued development of high energy density, high power battery systems meeting the clear, rigorous safety standards for aerospace are also considered. In advanced systems, the introduction of novel hydrogen aircraft concepts requires the development of liquid hydrogen pumps, valves, pipes, couplings, and tanks. Safety management technologies for hydrogen, including leak sensing, fire and explosion mitigation, and health management are needed. Thermal management systems for managing cryogenic hydrogen, and also for further enhancing the overall aircraft's energy efficiency, are of interest. Energy harvesting technology to reduce demand for the onboard hydrogen system could be beneficial. In aerostructures, similar to the ultra-efficient roadmap, there is ongoing need for materials and processes for near-net shape, including additive manufacturing. Composites for extreme temperature applications will be needed. Also, there will be a need for novel sealing and joint integrity solutions. The installation of cryogenic components and subsystems in the aircraft structures will drive unique technology challenges. For the cross-cutting enabling technologies, we have the following examples. In design and validation, novel approaches to modelling and design of aircraft systems, propulsion systems, and aerostructures could be proposed. Materials modelling and simulation could unlock new opportunities for applying novel materials in challenging applications. Defect analysis models will contribute to the wider design validation activities. Determinate assembly, simulation, manufacturing and inspection approaches are also needed. For manufacturing and assembly, I'll reiterate the importance of near-net shape, including both additive manufacturing and casting. Further development of digitally connected manufacturing systems and supply chains are also key. High-rate composites, adaptable tooling, deposition, cure and inspection are required, and digital and adaptable automated manufacturing and assembly systems are also considered. We consider the circular materials processing of composites is also important. For through-life support, we consider inspection and repair technologies, structural health monitoring and sensing, and also end-of-life technologies and processes. I'll conclude here as you've now been introduced to the ATI's Destination Zero strategy, our strategic objectives, and the specific area of interest for our SME Programme funding scope. Thank you.
Good afternoon. I'm Maria Nelson, and I'm here to tell you about the support that's available for applicants to the SME Programme through the ATI Hub. So firstly, if you haven't heard about the ATI Hub, the Hub is a fairly new initiative that we've launched to support sector innovators, to help them connect, to access expertise, and to collaborate. And it's really been designed to support companies with the sector transformation that's ahead and to help them thrive in the sustainable aerospace sector. We offer access to tech expertise and to sector and market expertise, both from within the ATI and connecting to external sector stakeholders. We help companies effectively navigate the landscape, whether that's funding. Obviously, the ATI offers funding, but then there's also funding outside of the ATI scope. So we give a bit of guidance on our funding and also where else to look. We support with critical topics like the regulatory landscape, and overall it's really about lowering barriers to entry to the aerospace sector and increasing chances of success of aerospace innovators. We also welcome cross-sector innovation. So if you are a company that's working in an adjacent sector and you have an aerospace application, or you're considering to commercialize into aerospace or to develop applications that could be relevant in the emerging sustainable aerospace sector, then the ATI Hub is a great space to connect and to understand the market landscape, understand technology requirements, our technology roadmaps, as we've heard them earlier. So we also explicitly encourage innovators from adjacent sectors. What does that look like overall? We offer a mix of online and in-person events. We also offer resources on our webpage. There are a variety of different clinics, workshops, and then also showcases that offer opportunities for sector innovators to present their innovations to industry stakeholders, to peers, to investors, and boot camps for young companies or for emerging companies and for companies from adjacent sectors. You can find all about the ATI Hub and everything about the events and the resources that we offer on the webpage below here. So it's the ATI webpage and then /hub. If you are applying or considering to apply for the ATI's SME program, then we have a number of bespoke offerings. So firstly, that one isn't bespoke, but if you haven't worked with us before and you're just eager to understand or maybe refresh a little bit about what the ATI does, what our scope is, what our different ways of supporting you may be, then we have a monthly online session. This is a group session that you can register for on the Hub webpage, just to find out or maybe refresh your understanding of the ATI and what we do. We then have tech clinics. So these are individual sessions, and they're great for companies who might have an early stage project idea. So maybe you haven't quite decided yet whether you want to apply, or you've got a project that you want to apply with, but you want to make sure that the scope is relevant, and maybe you want a little bit of guidance in terms of how to shape the project. Then a tech clinic is a great session to get access to a specialist technologist. So we'll ask you a little bit about what it is you'd like to discuss in the registration form, and then we'll connect you with the ATI technologist that's best suited to discuss your specific topic, and you'll have a chance to talk to them for 45 minutes and get early stage ideas and guidance on your specific technology idea, project idea. We then have two clinics specifically for the SME program to support innovators. These are group sessions, so this is a bit of general guidance. This is not individual guidance to develop applications, but this is really recap on the program, and then we'll focus in specifically on how to prepare for the outline stage, a strong outline stage presentation. So what do we expect to see in outline stage applications? What does a presentation stage look like, and how do you put yourself in the best possible position for that? And then we have a similar offering for the full stage. So if you do get invited to submit a full stage application, you'll be invited to a full stage clinic. The different sessions, you can see here the next dates for those sessions. If you're watching a recording of the webinar, just go to our webpage and you'll find the newest dates for those specific online events, tech clinics and SME program clinics. And do register and tell us a little bit about what you'd like to discuss specifically for the tech clinics. Once you've entered the formal application process, it's worth mentioning that you'll still have the opportunity to get support with your draft applications and feedback on your draft and applications from our technologists and from a wider technology and strategy team. So the tech clinics are really a first entry point to get a bit of initial guidance. And if you'd like to attend any of those, if any of those look helpful, hopefully they will, you can again register on our webpage. So it's the ATI webpage, ati.org.uk/hub, and we have refresh dates on there all the time. So if you've missed maybe one session, then do check back in on the web page and register for the next session. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you very much to our presenters who now join me for our Q&A. We've received a number of questions so far, so thank you for those. As a reminder, details for joining Slido are shown on your screen, but you can also join at slido.com using the code ATISME. So let's take our first question. And Mark, I think this is one for you. The question is there any difference to the main ATI funding programme with respect to the funding splits between larger aircraft, i.e. narrow or wide body, and the smaller aircraft? Mark.
So really good question. So I'll just clarify again one more time that our funding programme really covers everything from eVTOL class aircraft up through all the way through the sub-regional, regional, the narrow body and the wide body aircraft. We are looking, our priorities are around narrow body and wide body aircraft because of the economic value those aircraft types bring to the UK, and also because of their impact on sustainability. It absolutely dominates all the other aircraft types. We are, of course, interested in technology which is meeting as a stepping stone towards some of those larger aircraft, but also has the capability of providing UK growth opportunities. So I think that's the answer to that question. Thank you, Harry.
Yeah, thanks, Mark. Okay, great. We've got a question that's proving popular, which is, will the slides be available after the event to share with collaborators? That's an easy one, so I'm going to take it, which is the answer is yes, we will make the slides available on our website. And we're also going to make the recording of this webinar available on YouTube. So watch this space for that. And I'm sure we'll be sort of publicising that on social media as and when we do. Okay, let's take a couple more. Romina, I might do a couple of these together for you. One is, can SMEs apply on their own, or do they need to collaborate with partners or other organisations? And perhaps we'll take a second one as well for Romina, which is, how can academia engage with the SME programme?
Sure, thanks, Harry. So yeah, absolutely. SMEs can apply to the program on their own, so they don't have to be part of a consortium, but we do encourage collaborative projects, and academia can, of course, be part of that. So they can be part of a consortium. So the best way to do that is to engage with SMEs across the UK in terms of the technology and research areas that you have aligned with them. So yeah, you don't have to be part of a consortium. You can apply on your own if you're an SME, but we do encourage collaborative projects. Thanks, Harry.
Great. Thanks, Romina. I'm going to pull together a couple again for you, Mark. I think one is probably a matter of clarification over the roadmaps. So there's one which is if a technology or project hits multiple or even all three key areas, which I think means the roadmaps, are SMEs required to choose one, or can they apply on the basis that they solve multiple? So that's one. And I think another one that I was going to include was for Mark, are cargo aircraft or cargo drones part of the program? So Mark, perhaps if you could answer the first one on hitting all three or more than one roadmap, and then on to cargo aircraft and drones.
Great. Okay. So in terms of scope alignment, what we're looking for are technologies which definitely align with the Destination Zero strategy. So ideally, you just need to identify the primary area that you think it really aligns with in terms of the strategic alignment. If you think it applies to more than one, you can call out more than one area. When you don't have to call out every single area within the strategy, you just have to demonstrate that you've actually aligned with the Destination Zero. So that's the first point. The second point was really around technologies which are more suited to cargo aircraft or drones or that kind of thing. At the end of the day, we are looking for technologies which will find their way could find their way into the wider commercial aircraft programs. So if those technologies initially are to be exploited in a drone or a cargo environment, but they've got the potential to be exploited in a commercial aircraft in the future, and you can demonstrate that there's an opportunity to do that, then we are interested in seeing that pull through into the wider commercial aerospace technology. Thank you.
Thanks, Mark. Good. Okay. I've got a couple coming through on really a combination of sort of funding rates and funding availability. So, Romina, I'm going to give these ones to you again, but I should also say that in addition to the slides, there is a lot of information about this available on our website, so do check that. But let's take a couple of these. The first one, Romina, SME funding is stated as above 50%. Historically, 70% has been used. Does the funding rate depend on the consortia or the individual? There's another question on, can a loan SME be funded at more than 50%? Let's just see. There was also one on how much funding is available through the SME programme, one on what's the actual grant, the percentage that an SME can get with the ATI. So I think really if you could take a combination of those and provide some clarity on the funding available and the intensity and some of the splits that were asked about.
Sure, thanks, Harry. So in terms of the level of funding available each year for the programme, our planning assumption is that we have up to £10 million funding for the programme each year. The SMEs can receive and must receive at least 50% of the grant funding in any project that we fund. However, that can be up to 70% depending on the makeup of the consortium. So, for example, if you have a bigger larger organization in your consortium and you have an SME, then the split between that could potentially be 70-30. So we don't have a funding ratio in the SME program. However, the split of the grant funding for the project will depend on the makeup of the consortium. For example, how many SMEs are involved and how many larger organizations or academia is involved in the program, in the project, basically. So that will determine how much funding is given to each of the organizations. So for example, if you have 4 SMEs in a consortium, then the level of funding, the 50% or the 70%, depending on the makeup, will be split between those organizations.
Great, thanks, Romina. And as a reminder, there are details on the website for those who want to have a look at those. Romina, actually, while we've got you, I'm going to come back with a couple of others, and then probably to you, Mark, afterwards. But firstly, can you apply to the main program, i.e., the strategic program, and to the SME programme at the same time? And then there's a question on when would successful applicants be expected to start their project. So perhaps that's a bit of a sort of an overview of some of the timelines. Romina.
Yeah. So you can apply to both the strategic program and the SME program. However, if you're successful in both, you can only accept one of the awards, not both. And in terms of, sorry, what was the second question, Harry?
So the second question was about timelines. When would successful applicants be expected to start projects? So I guess a bit of an overview of that process that they'll go through.
Yeah, sure. So the outline stage application for the first round opens in February, and then for those projects that are successful at the outline stage, they will be invited to submit to the full stage application, and that opens, I believe, around April, May time. So basically after that, when you submit your full stage application, once you have received the outcome notification, then you will be able to determine when your project can start. But when you submit your full stage application, you can put a date in that's sort of around 3 months after the notification date, just to allow time for you to find out about the outcome of your application and to allow time for yourself to plan the start of your project.
Great. Thanks, Romina. Okay, Mark, coming back to you with a couple. The first is on buoyant aircraft. So do you include buoyant aircraft that use lighter than air principles? And the second one, if I can find it on the list, let's see. Let's pick, in terms of aerospace structures, are more sustainable interior structures in scope? So there are two for you, Mark. One on buoyant aircraft, the other on structures.
Great. Okay, well, let's kick off with buoyant aircraft. So you would have seen that we didn't indicate buoyant aircraft on our little diagram. There's a whole host of different types of aircraft that we didn't actually include in there, primarily because where we see the real benefits are really going to be in those larger aircraft, as I've mentioned earlier. If there's a technology that's being applied in that particular aircraft type, which has the potential to be exploited in large aircraft, then we're interested in talking to you. It may be that there's something in there that is of interest to the ATI. So please do come and talk to us. That's what I would say on the first one. The second question, Harry, just remind me, what was the second question?
This was on structures. Let me just find it again.
Oh yeah, this was about interiors. This was about interiors.
Yeah.
So yes,
Exactly.
The answer is for interiors. If you're looking at more sustainable structures for interiors, yes, that's absolutely within scope. That is on the roadmaps.
Great, thanks, Mark. And actually, while we've got you, there's a sort of question around clarifying some of these different terms: fundamental research, experimental development, and industrial research. The question is, you say that fundamental research and experimental development aren't supported, only industrial research. Can you give examples of an industrial research project, or perhaps just provide a bit more clarity around the scope there of what we mean when we say industrial research?
So that goes back to the TRL diagram that I was showing everybody earlier. So essentially, industrial research covers from basically you've taken something from experimental proof of concept, which is the TRL3. So you've got some limited evidence that it works in a very limited environment, and then industrial research is about now taking that in a more industrial environment and actually delivering that all the way through to TRL6 in a representative environment. So that's our phase of interest, which is TRL 3 to 6 effectively, is the industrial research. Beyond that is experimental development, and that's not part of the ATI activity in terms of the SME programme, or in fact for the strategic programme.
Great, thanks, Mark. Romina, back to you for a couple. One is, can SMEs be involved in multiple applications, i.e. leading one and being involved with another one? And I'd like to add a couple to that one. One is, do all members of a consortium need to be UK-based organisations? and a third more on the presentation. Can animations and video be used? So if you could do those three. Firstly, can SMEs be involved in multiple applications? Secondly, do all members need to be UK based? And then about the video.
Yes, we do. All the consortium members that receive grant funding from the SME program must be UK based. However, we do understand that international collaboration is important, and we do recognize that. So that is possible, but it is not the international collaborators won't be eligible to receive any grant funding as part of the program, but they can be collaborators or partners in the project. Sorry, what was the third question, Harry?
The third one was, can animations and video be used in presentations?
No, unfortunately not. So we do expect slides that only cover text and images if required, and also basically nothing that sort of would be classified as additional sort of material to that. And basically what we want to see in the presentations is for the SMEs to cover the criteria that we have published on our website to be demonstrated in the presentation.
Great, thanks, Romina. And there's another question around UK-based SMEs. One is, if you're a UK-based SME owned by a foreign group, are you still able to apply for these grants? To which the answer is yes, but I don't know if there's any other comment to make on that.
I would say we need to look at that one individually. I mean, without seeing the application and the scope of work, and particularly around the exploitation, it would be difficult to say whether that would be eligible or not, but we can certainly have a look at that if you submit your application. And I think there was also another question, Harry, around if SMEs can be involved in more than one project.
Yeah.
So the answer is yes, they can. However, one of the things we would look at is to make sure that if you're involved in more than one project, you actually have the resources or capabilities to effectively deliver the project and the technologies that basically you have promised you would deliver as part of your project.
Great, thanks, Romina. I think we're going to take one last question because we're going to run out of time in a moment, but we are going to try and make sure that we can answer all of the others in some way in our FAQs or separately. Mark, one for you to finish off with, and this is regarding TRL status. And the question is that the questioner says, I believe that bringing together existing higher TRL technologies in a novel way would constitute a lower TRL project. Is this the case?
So again, it's on a case-by-case basis, but we're very pleased to kind of take a look at that. Equally, you may be bringing TRLs from another sector, technologies from another sector which are at higher TRL, but when you apply them in an aerospace environment, the environment drives the TRL level down. So there's a whole range of different things that you can think of in terms of TRL. And if you're looking for more guidance on that, please do come and have a chat with us.
Okay, great. Thanks, Mark. Good. Okay, well, that brings the Q&A session to a close. So thanks again to our panelists, and thanks to those who submitted questions. We will update the SME Programme FAQs page, as I said. That's on our website, and that'll reflect the questions that we've received today, including those that we haven't had time to answer, some of which we may amalgamate to address. So there are plenty more opportunities to engage with the ATI, including registering for our mailing list, joining our events, and of course engaging directly on your ideas for the SME Programme. I think you've heard it today, but reiterating that: do engage, do get in touch, and do use these opportunities to talk to the ATI. In the meantime, you can find out more about the SME Programme and the support from the ATI Hub on our website. So please do go and have a look at that. Well, meanwhile, many thanks again to all of you for joining us today. And I'm looking forward to seeing some really exciting technology developments receiving funding from the SME Programme soon. Thank you.